Hey everyone, Mark Russo here, and today we're going to teach you a great release feel to hit your driver better than you've ever hit it. If you struggle with contact across the face and just overall struggle hitting good drivers, we're going to help you with a great feel that's going to make that ball fly high and true and better than it's ever been. Let's go. Okay everyone, welcome in, and today we're gonna hit the big stick, okay? Everybody loves to do it, but a lot of you struggle with it. So today, one thing we're gonna talk about is the difference in hitting this club versus hitting an iron, okay? And one of the things that you have to understand is that it is not the same swing, okay? So let's just throw it on the table right now. An iron is hit off the ground, where you're trying to hit the ball first and the ground second, hopefully. And with this, no ground interaction, and we're trying to make sure that we can really drive this club through the ball. Now, ideally, it's great to hit up on the ball, not great for everybody. So we'll just say that we're gonna at least hit this thing, sweep this thing right off the tee. If you can hit up on it, great. A lot of my students do a little too much of that, and it makes it difficult for them to find the golf ball later, okay? But for today, we're just gonna make sure we understand that we're not hitting down on the ball, we're gonna generally hit up on it, okay? So what's the difference, and what did many of you do? So first off, one of the things that we wanna talk about here is how the club comes into impact with an iron versus a driver. So first off, with an iron, we're going to be moving forward and hitting with the shaft leaning ahead and striking the ball first and the ground second, okay? With this club, we want the club to come in and square up sooner. We'll call it lining up the driver or squaring up sooner, whatever term you want to use, or releasing it sooner, okay? We got to make sure you understand how to do it, okay? That's a very, very important piece, okay? So first off, we got to understand some feels and some drills for that. What I want you to do first is understand that when we come into impact, I'm gonna play the ball forward, but I am going to let the club head swing out. Now, often I'm gonna give students that feel and they're gonna say, whoa, 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 wait a minute. That's casting, okay? Now, let's be clear about the differences, okay? First off, the traditional casting, if you will, is when someone takes it here and pitches the club head outside the plane they're swinging on too much, and they can hit the ground, they can slice it, they can do a lot of ugly things. In our scenario, what I want you to understand is we are swinging that club back and releasing it along that same plane, okay? So if you can imagine that I'm going, and I'll even use my pool noodle, which we're gonna use here for a second, where I swing up that plane and then get it back down on that plane, I'll be just fine from there. If I take it back and I let the club release out, then I'll be in trouble, okay? So I wanna make sure we have that clarification for what we're doing today, okay? So, what is it that we want to feel? So first off, I'm just going to take the ball off the tee here for a second, and I put my buddy here as a visual for you. So he's just above the plane that I'm starting on here, so you can see. And what I want you to feel for me here is, I've got a tee right in the ground, and I want you to take it up to the top. And what I want you to feel is more of a force on the club out and away from you. You might even take your right hand and put it flat on the side of the grip. Let's take it up. And you'll feel like you are pushing the club head away from you. Now, as long as I'm continuing to move, I can line that up, no problem, right back at impact, okay? And what that's gonna help me do is create a larger window through impact for me to be able to square the face. When I see students struggle with this, where they have their hands too far forward, too high at impact, they often will hit the club face all over the map. There's no consistency in terms of where they strike it on the face. It could be high, could be low, heel, toe, and that immediately is a red flag to me that there's something going on with where the handle is relative to the face, and it makes it highly variable at impact. If we do this, we create a much bigger window, if you will. We'll call it a flat spot through impact. It's not really flat, but it's a bigger window, we'll call it, to be able to square the face up. Okay, I'm also going to give you another drill you can do with an impact bag, or I've got my den caddy here, we'll use that in a moment. Take a pool noodle, stick it in the ground with a shaft on it there, and I'm going to move that ball away, and I'm going to set the shaft right up against this thing, okay? And what you're going to do for me is just make some swings, go up, split your hands apart, feel some force on the club pushing away from you. We're not pulling, we're not raising the shaft, away from you and bring it back to square, okay? Back to the top, feel that same motion, okay? Then you're gonna put both hands on and try and feel that same thing. What I want you to do is make sure when you do this, the face is square at impact, okay? We wanna make sure that the face is nice and square at impact. We don't wanna come back with the face wide open or shut, all right? So we wanna make sure we feel that. The next thing we're gonna do is try it with two hands, okay? Feel that same movement. For a lot of my students, they're gonna ask me, Mark, how soon should I feel this? And for a lot of them, I'm gonna say, feel it pretty soon, okay? Many of them will wait way too long before they try this. We cannot square the face through here. We're doing good things before that to do it or not, much, much earlier, okay? So the next thing we're gonna do here is, again, two hands on it, wide, and line it up. You can see where I am relative to the pool noodle. Line up at the same angle. I'm not here. I'm not pushing on the noodle going forward. Look where the face goes when I do that, okay? And I'm also not here, by the way, this way. We're lining everything back up. An additional way you can do this, okay? You could take something at home to do this. I've got my bucket here, and here's how I like to do it with students. Because it's so important to get everything lined up together, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll have the students set the bag, and I've got the tee here, okay? And we'll put the ball back on the tee just so for the visual here. And what you're gonna do is, and again, this is all slow motion, set your driver up, get your setup, and then I'm gonna take the bag and I'm gonna put it right against the middle of the shaft. And what I wanna do is, slowly, we wanna make sure that we come in and get the shaft of the club back against it and the face squared up. If you put the impact bag down by the ball with driver, you can get the head back there, but the shaft might still be high or too low or forward too much. So this is a great way to do it. Put your impact bag up a little bit and get the middle of the shaft back to it. And you'll really find that you can really feel a big window to square this thing, okay? So we're gonna try and feel that for you, all right? One of my favorite drills, besides the pool noodle and the bag, is one that I've been using for a while now. And what I want you to see is, it's a little different. My students give me kind of a funny look when I do this one, and this is not to hit a ball with, by the way. Please, these drivers are too expensive for you to do this with a ball. You'll never get it back after that. You're gonna turn the driver with the face looking down at the ground, okay? And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna make some swings here, feeling like you are taking the toe of the driver and bringing it back through the impact zone first. Much like thinking about there being a nail in the back of the ball, and we're gonna swing that driver head out and drive that nail right into the back of the ball. With the head turned this way, what we're gonna get is a little bit of a different feeling on the downswing, where you're actually gonna feel more weight under the shaft because of where the head is. It's almost like swinging a sledgehammer, and that sledgehammer is gonna come back out to the ball. So you make a few swings for me here, feel that, send that club head out to the ball, drive the nail in, right? Feel a few of those. No hanging on to it. Imagine that if I was trying to hit this ball with this, which you should not do, okay? All right, if I pull on the grip, if I raise my hands, I can't get the head to the ball. The only way I can do that is to put that force on it, back out to it, and let it release. If you could get good at this, you're gonna see some balls really jump. And for a lot of you too, hitting up on the ball will improve because the club is bottoming out sooner and going up through the ball, okay? So we wanna make sure we feel that, all right? So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it a go, okay? And by the way, real quick, tee height. A lot of you will tee the ball super high and some of you are super low. I like something a little bit in between, half a ball above the driver head, okay? If it gets too high, I think it's a little problematic for some of you to make contact. Okay, so we're gonna set up. We're gonna aim it at that big pole in the distance there. We're gonna rehearse wide out to the ball. Look at everything line up. Perfect, okay? And we'll give it a shot. Okay, no problem. Slightly pushed to the right. Hit really solid though. No problem there. Felt perfect contact right in the middle of the face. To put it all together, what we really want is for you to understand how this club is different than those irons in your bag, okay? Practice with the club head turned in drill. Make sure that you are letting that club head out and lining up. Then use the pool noodle, use the impact bag. Practice this movement slowly, then rehearse with the ball. Once you get comfortable with this, you really should see the ball jump off the face and go much straighter and higher, and you'll finally pick up some of those distance gains that you've been looking for. Hope that helps, and we'll see you on the lesson tee.